ornamental landscape was designed using the same principles we would apply to any landscape, and that begins with creating structure and harmony. We already looked at the use of trees in creating structure in the garden. We can also use shrubs for this purpose. One way to use shrubs is to create a backdrop to the garden, and for this, nothing is as good as the elderberry. It grows to very large sizes, and the finely cut foliage makes a wonderful support for accent plants. When you're selecting plants, you can also add to the ornamental value by working with some of the cultivars that have colorful foliage, such as this black lace elderberry, Sambucus nigra, cultivar Eva. We can also think about using shrubs in masses, and a nice example would be sand plums, which naturally grow in a thicket. Here we have blueberries that we're using to create a mass, and right now they're fairly small, but over time they'll grow together into a clump. Many plant producers have been getting involved with edible plants lately and selecting edible plants for ornamental characteristics as well as the taste, quality, and yield of the plant. A good example is this bountiful blueberry. It was selected for 3 seasons of color. In the spring, beautiful white bell-like flowers are produced, which of course are followed by the bright blue fruits. The foliage itself has a bluish, waxy coloration to it, which adds to the ornamental value. In the fall, this will turn a striking maroon red color. Now, blueberries also work well as a hedge, and they really come to light in the fall with that beautiful foliage. Shrubs also provide structure and interest during the winter months. Here I have quince and sand plum. Both of these have woody stems that will hold throughout the winter. The quince will put on flowers late in the winter, early spring, about the same time that we see our forsythia bloom. And these are beautiful hues of pink, red, and orange. I find the bark on sand plums to be very attractive. It also has somewhat of a reddish coloration to it and a nice striped texture, and that's something that will be very evident during the winter months. Now, many of our shrubs can also work as a focal point. This sand plum is a unique cultivar. It's a non-clumping cultivar called Headley Red, and it has this beautiful red foliage which is quite striking in the landscape. Another plant we're using as an edible focal point is a rose bush. Roses, the petals are edible and often used in dessert, and the rose hips or seed heads are often used in teas. The cultivar that we're growing in our edible garden is called Belinda's Dream. Most of our edible shrubs are selected for the tasty fruits they provide, such as the blueberries or the sand plums. One that I've selected that is a little bit less common is the Serviceberry, Amelanchier ulnifolia. And this is something that's more common up north, but I was really excited to find a cultivar called Regent that takes the heat, and it also is smaller growing. Most of the Amelanchiers grow to a large shrub or even small tree, but I didn't have space for that. So I was happy to find Regent, which matures at 4 to 6 feet tall and wide, so it's going to fit the space I have available. It also tolerates dry alkaline soils, which many of us struggle with here in Oklahoma, so I'm very happy to be growing this. It produces small berries similar to in size to a blueberry. They're often used in pies and jams, and they can be eaten fresh as well. Another great benefit of this plant is that it tolerates shade, so it's going to produce well despite the overhead canopy. Now, other shrubs can be selected for their edible flowers, and we have a delightful lilac here in the garden. This is a reblooming cultivar called Bloomerang, and we happen to be in between blossoms right now after the nice big spring show. The plant will continue to produce flowers periodically through the summer. It might slow down a little bit when it's really hot, but then it'll pick back up again in the fall. Now, lilacs we all adore for that wonderful fragrance. Well, fragrance is often associated with flavor. The blossoms of lilac are used to flavor drinking water. They're also used in desserts as well as salads. Oftentimes the petals are candied and they're used to decorate the tops of desserts. Now, I already mentioned roses and the use of the petals as well as the rose hips. In addition to making teas, the rose hips can also be used in pies, jams, and syrups. And in fact, rose hips have been used as a dietary supplement for thousands of years. We have a number of flowers in our edible landscape, such as this monarda or bee balm. We'll take a closer look at this and other edible flowers as we continue to explore edible ornamental landscaping.